Good morning. Welcome to a special class on constitutional issues. If you look at the Constitution of India, it was adopted on November 26th, 1949, and it came into force on January 26th, 1950. Since then, the Constitution of India has undergone many changes, many amendments. But during that time, depending on the situations, necessities, and requirements, so one of the best constitutions in the world was developed by our Constituent Assembly members. So all the important people like Dr. B. Rajendra Prasad, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Dr. B. R. Ambedkar, K. M. Munshi, so many people were there, and because of the contributions of all the great leaders in the Constituent Assembly, our constitution came into force on January 26th, 1950. But the same constitution has got various issues, and these issues have come to the forefront over a period of time. Now, basically, what happens is that whenever you have any issue, it is always better to address it. But unfortunately, because of the various gaps that are present in the constitution, because of the lack of proper understanding and coordination among various organs that are mentioned within the constitution, unfortunately, the issues are still continuing. The issues are still continuing, and would like to have a look at those issues, what exactly are they. For example, if you begin with, so from the year number one, from the year 1951 itself, so there was a difference between judiciary and the executive, judiciary and the parliament with respect to fundamental rights and the directive principles of state policy. Fundamental rights are the basic rights of the citizens, and that must be protected. But on the other hand, what happens? You have a concept called DPSP in the constitution under part 4 that gives the directions to the government. DPSP is nothing but the functions of the government, and these functions are aimed at providing welfare to the people. But during this time, the government will make the laws, and sometimes what will happen, those laws may infringe the fundamental rights. Obviously, what happens if the fundamental rights are violated, we can move the court, and the judiciary will come to the rescue of the people. So this is what is happening since the beginning, and Supreme Court is giving high priority to the protection of the fundamental rights of the people, and on the other side, government is giving high priority to directive principles of state policy. And 42nd amendment that took place in the year 1976, it has given predominance of DPSP over fundamental rights. So obviously what happens, that shows the clear-cut conflict between these two top organs in the country. So like this, you have various issues, and majority of the issues are not being addressed even today. Since these are the issues that are associated with the constitution, they are called constitutional issues, right? In the similar manner, look at the example, please. You have provided a reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and this reservation is expected to be continued for not more than 10 years from the date of commencement of the constitution. But that was a small period, that was not sufficient. That is the reason why, by amending the constitution, the 10 years period has been extended to 20 years. 20 years has been extended to 30, 30 became 40, 50, 60, and finally it became 70. And even that 70 will become 80 also. So what is happening? So when you are talking about this equality before law, everybody should be treated equally. But what for these reservations? So reservations can be supported in one way, saying that this is a mechanism how exactly you are giving support to uplift the downtrodden sections of the society. So that is the reason why initially 10 years, for 10 years period, reservation was provided. But every 10 years, this is being extended by another 10 years. Now, over a period of time, what is happening? It is not just SCs and STs, but otherwise various sections in the society, they started demanding for the reservations. On one side, our political parties are increasing like anything. So Promising reservations to certain sections of the society has become a fashion for the political parties today. Obviously, the people who are present in the country, the people are innocent. But when it comes to the political parties, and some politicians are really right, so playing with the whole system, and they're just giving the promises like that. Whether it can be feasible under the Constitution of India, whether the provisions of the Constitution of India will permit for that, without having the basic knowledge, on the name of the manifesto, on the name of the election promises, the promises are being given. And after coming to the power, so either they are trying to provide the reservations in accordance with the promises what they made, or they are trying to avoid that. So both the situations are really embarrassing. But with whom you are playing, that is important. The politicians, they are playing with the sentiments of the or the beliefs of the common man. And obviously, common people, so these are the innocent people, and they are not clearly aware of many majority of the things. Obviously, we go by the words of the politicians, and that is what is happening. And if you today, if you look at, the problem that is there with the problem that is created on the name of these reservations, and the blame has to go to the politicians and not to the people. And in various parts of the country, so the demands are happening to get the reservations. So is it not an issue? Originally, the reservations are meant only for 10 years. But since you are extending that periodically, obviously other sections of the society will also get attracted towards that. When some section of the society is getting, why don't we get the reservations? This is what exactly is happening. Plus, at the same time, whether the reservations that are being provided to certain sections like SCs and STs, whether they are reaching the right candidates or not, that is also important. And the observations are very, very clear that the needy people within SCs and STs, they are deprived of getting these reservations. By using this reservation, some people are becoming IAS, IPS, IRS, Group 1, Group 2 officers. And obviously, once a person becomes IAS officer or IPS officer or any other officer, you will be in a better position to provide better education to your children. Whether the child deserves a reservation or not, that should be a question. Nothing is there in the Constitution, and that is the reason why the children of these officers are also entitled to the so-called reservation. It is not the mistake of the children, in fact. So obviously, so the government failed to address these issues. And if you fail to address these issues, and the government most of the times maintains a silence, which is a very, very dangerous thing. Government is expected to be active. Government is expected to take the decisions dynamically. You should not kill a lot of time. And otherwise, what will happen? The people will take to the streets. That will lead to the agitations. Agitations may turn into violence, and that will be disturbing the whole system, and the law and order situation will be distorted. So obviously, so these are all the issues that will be that should be taken into consideration, and that is the reason why. So we are talking specifically with respect to the issues that are related to the Constitution. Plus, anti-defection law, another one we have. So this is a mechanism through which you want to stop the people to jump from one political party to the other political party after getting elected. Originally, it was not there in the Constitution. You know that there was 8 schedules in the Constitution. 9th schedule was added in the year 1951 through First Amendment. 10th schedule has been added through 52nd Amendment in the year 1985, and that 10th schedule is mentioning about the anti-defection law. If the people defect from one political party to the other political party after getting elected, they should be disqualified. So I discussed very elaborately under anti-defection law. But what is the issue here? Idea is good, intention is good. Idea is good, intention is good. You want to stop these defections because these are the political party people who got elected through the democratic process. People voted for those members by looking at the political party. But after getting elected, if you shift your loyalties from one political party to the other political party, then who should be answerable for this? Is it not an insult to the people who voted for you? Is it not cheating the people who voted for you? And the answers are not there. And who will take the final decision? With respect to the final decision on these defections, the member can be disqualified and the decision will be taken by speaker or the chairman as per the case. If it is Lok Sabha, speaker. If it is Rajya Sabha, chairman of the Rajya Sabha. If it is assembly, speaker of the assembly. If it is legislative council, chairman of the council has to take the decisions. But the point is that are the decisions are being taken in reality? If you look at various states in the country, over a period of time, there is so much of encouragement with respect to the defections. So many defections are happening, and the elected representatives are least bothered about the 10th schedule and the anti-defection. From especially when these people jump from opposition party to the ruling party, they literally have no fear at all, and complete arrogance on the part of these members. And they are very clear that nothing will happen to them. Nothing will happen to them, and that is the reason why they are just shifting their loyalties. And there is a provision that you need to lodge a complaint with submit the petition to the speaker or the chairman as per the case within 15 days. Even after the petition is submitted requesting to disqualify the concerned person, speaker is expected to take the decision at the earliest. Does the speaker has no respect to the constitution? How long you will take to take action against the concerned person? So like this, they are just postponing it. Years together they are postponing it. And at the end of the day, either they are taking the decision or they are not taking the decision, and the term of the concerned house is getting over. Whose mistake is this? Speaker position, chairman position in the respective houses is considered to be a very, very dignified positions. So they are expected to uphold the principles of the constitution. But what is happening in reality? Is it not a shame on the part of those people? Like this, we have various issues. Look at your own state if you want. In your state also you can see these defections, especially from opposition party. If the defections are happening towards the ruling party, no action is being taken because speaker belongs to a political party. And most of the times the speaker belongs to a political party which is a ruling party. Obviously, so he or she cannot take the action against the interest of the political party. But what is important for you? Is your position is important? Don't you have any respect towards the constitution? Is it not an issue? Who should address this issue? Parliament has to decide, and you should make some amendments in the existing 10th schedule and give a clear-cut time to the speaker or the chairman to take a decision in the specified period of time, probably not beyond 3 months. Take a decision. But it is not happening. Another important thing, what happened is that this judicial review is not permitted with respect to 10th schedules. So starting from 1985 up to the year 1993, judicial review was not permitted, meaning whatever speaker says, whatever the chairman says, that is final, and it should not be questioned in the court of law, and courts cannot interfere. If the courts cannot interfere, then what happens? What is the meaning of the judicial review we have? That's the reason why in the year 1993, Supreme Court took it seriously, and Supreme Court made it very, very clear. Judicial review is very much permitted into the concepts of 10th schedule. That's the reason why since that time, the judicial review is also happening on the decisions that are taken by speaker or the chairman. But the point is that even today also, so many such cases are going to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is looking into these cases one after the other, that is case by case. And it is asking the concerned chair, the speaker or the chairman, to take the decisions at the earliest. So the apex court is also not in a position to give the directions. If this is the case, is it not a mockery on the democracy? Ours is the largest democratic country in the world. And this democracy is becoming mockery because of all these issues that are present. Constitution is good. There is no doubt about this. This is what Dr. B. Rajendra Prasad said. Constitution is like a mission. Constitution is like a lifeless mission. It gets a life only by the people who operate it. That is the reason why blaming the Constitution, blaming the provisions of the Constitution is really not at all acceptable. But how exactly the people who are implementing the Constitution, how exactly they are behaving, that is important. Did we understand the spirit of the Constitution in reality? Did we understand the values of the Constitution in reality? If so, what is happening? That's the reason why. So these are all the subject matters of the constitutional issues, and majority of them are even today they are not addressed. That is the reason why, if you look at this, so many committees were also established. Maybe, in the form of first Administrative Reforms Commission, Sarkaria Commission to look into the center-state relations, over a period of time, Punchi Commission to look into the center-state relations. Right, sometime back, MN Venkatachalaya Commission, so to review the whole constitution. Like this, we have the Finance Commission. So many law commissions were there, but what is happening? And these commissions are basically meant for giving the this advices. Ultimate decision will be taken only by the government. Another serious criticism against the judiciary is that judiciary, when you have the evidences in front of you, you can take the decision at the earliest and see that the culprits should be punished at the earliest, so that the society will start gaining confidence. Today we are in the year 2017. This is May 6th, 2017. Let me go back to December 16th, 2012. Hopefully you remember the darkest day. A black day in the history of India, where one girl was sexually assaulted, mutilated, her body was mutilated, her private organs were mutilated, and later she was thrown out of this bus, running bus, moving bus, and she died. Nirbhaya. Hope you remember this. So during that time, the entire nation united, and we started raising the voice against those culprits. By coming under pressure, the government has appointed a committee called Justice J.S. Verma Committee. Of course, he was a former CJI, and he is no more now. He passed away. So Justice J.S. Verma Committee has appointed, and the committee has given certain recommendations to strengthen our criminal justice system. This incident took place on December 16th, 2012. So the trial court has given the death sentence. It was upheld by the High Court. And again, they have moved to the Supreme Court. So the system is such, the Supreme Court or any court cannot take a decision just like that. You need to verify various facts. And yesterday, May 5th, the final judgment was given by the Supreme Court with respect to Nirbhaya case. And these people, they deserve to be hanged. Brutals. Animal nature. So many strong words were used by the Supreme Court. But where is the year 2012? Where am I now? What happened? So meaning, since at that time, though it is a heinous crime, rest of the rare cases, so obviously they need to be hanged. But why there is a delay? And on the other side, a section of the society also argues that killing someone is not humanitarian. Then what should be done? So even today also they are alive, these people. Now it is not the end of the day for them. They still have certain options like review petition, curative petition. Again, it will go to the President of India, right? With mercy petition. Again, that may come back to the judiciary. So like this process will continue, and it will take some time, this for these people to be hanged. Majority of the people in the country, they have expressed their happiness over the judgment of the Supreme Court. But again, it takes time because the process is still there. Review petition, curative petition, so many things are there. But why such a delay? So we are really proud of our judicial system. The judiciary is coming to the rescue of the people. But why there is a delay? 3 crore cases are still pending in the so-called, our judicial systems. That is the reason why, this Lok Adalats, mega Lok Adalats, they are being arranged. The petty cases are getting, getting done, right? So this is what is happening with this. So obviously what will happen, there are so many issues. There are so many issues which are supposed to be addressed. So I'd like to open the document. Let me share some information with you. Look at this. First one is the special provisions that are relating to certain cases. These are the issues, articles 330 to 342. Let me go through this fastly. Reservation of seats to SCs and STs in the Lok Sabha under article number 330. This is in accordance to the proportion, in accordance to the population, in proportion to the population. Under article number 331, President may nominate not more than 2 members belong to Anglo-Indian community. Right? Almost in every Lok Sabha, so the representation is very much there, nominated by the President. Next one. Under article number 332, SCs and STs have been reserved, they got the reservations in the assemblies. That is also in proportion to the population. And with respect to governor of the concerned assembly, governor may nominate 1 Anglo-Indian member to the concerned assembly. Next, look at this. Article 334 says that the reservation of the seats for SCs, STs, and Anglo-Indians shall cease to have effect after 70 years from the date of commencement of the Constitution. Originally, instead of 70, it was mentioned as 10. Later, 10 has been replaced by 20, 20 became 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. Right? And before January 26th, 2020, this 70 will become 80. What are the issues here? Issue is that many other castes are also demanding for the reservations. So this is the time for India to decide whether the reservation should be scrapped completely or other castes should also be provided with the reservations. And the special provisions to SCs and STs did not help them to come out of the clutches. This is what I was telling you. The actual people, the needy people, the deserved people, they are not getting the benefits out of this. But otherwise, certain sections who are considered to be elite within these groups, they are getting the benefits. Their children are getting benefits. Then what is the purpose of this reservation? Right? Next. So what are the issues with the, this is 7th schedule? Right? So what are the issues here? India is a federation. The word federation is not mentioned in the Constitution. Why? You know the reasons. So when it comes to the seventh schedule, that reflects the idea and the principle of the federation. Means, so there is a division of powers. There is a division of powers between central government and state governments. That is the reason why in the seventh schedule you can see union list, state list, and concurrent list. So the powers have been divided between central government and state government. And with respect to the concurrent list, both state government and central government can make the laws. But in case of any contradiction, if both central government and state government make a law on the same subject in the concurrent list, then the law that is made by the central government will prevail. Then what is the state government should do? And on one side, you are talking about the federation. On the other side, you are giving more powers to the central government. Central government is also empowered to take over the states whenever there is a necessity. Article 365 is also coming into picture. Article 356 plus Article 365. Hopefully, you know the difference between these two. I was discussing when I was discussing about the president's rule. So, right, Article 356 and Article 365. So, they are coming into the picture and they are being used to dislodge the government at the state level. Meaning, though India is considered to be a federation, more powers are vested with the central government. And even during the national emergency also, the central government will assume the powers. And as we all know, from the concept of federation, India will be transformed into unitary without amending the constitution. Right? So is it not biased? Obviously, the constitution is biased towards the central government. Under normal circumstances, state may be functioning well. But this Article 356 is being used to topple the government of the state level. We have seen various examples in the recent past too. Yes. Plus, another concept is residuary powers. Residuary powers are those powers of that particular legislature to make a law on the subject which is not present in any of this list. Who is vested with the residuary powers? Central government. Why not the states? So meaning, again, it is biased. Again, it's a very, very serious issue and it was not addressed so far. That's the reason why in every aspect, maybe in the administration, maybe in the legislature, maybe in the judicial system, there are so many issues that are present over there. Okay, so we'll look into this. Look at this. So under the seventh schedule, the concept of federation is reflected. You have union list, state list, and the concurrent list. Through 42nd amendment, certain subjects that are present in the state list, they have been pushed to the concurrent list so that the central government can also make the laws. So through the 42nd amendment, certain subjects like forest, education, weights and measurements, so they all became the part of the concurrent list. Originally, they were there in the state list. Look at this. Residuary powers are vested with the central government. Just now I told you. Through the first amendment of 1951, another important point. Through the first amendment of 1951, ninth schedule has been added to the constitution. And the laws or any items or subjects, if you add to this schedule, it will not fall under the purview of the judicial review. So this is one area which is being exploited by the government. And you make something and put it in the ninth schedule, judiciary cannot touch it. But over a period of time, Supreme Court took it very seriously. And Supreme Court said that even ninth schedule will also come under the concept of judicial review, because judicial review is a part of the basic structure. You cannot stop us. You cannot stop us from going to the review. That's the reason why the court said that after 1973, whatever the things that have been added to the ninth schedule are subjected to the judicial review. There are more than 284 items that are present in the ninth schedule, but no review was done even today also. No review was done even today. On one side, the parliament says that you don't have the power of judicial review on ninth schedule. Supreme Court says that we go for the judicial review. But not happening, it's not happening, the judicial review. None of the subjects in the ninth schedule were reviewed so far. That is the reason why, if you look at the reservation systems in the country, in each state, the reservations will vary. The percentage of the reservations will vary from state to state. Next. So this is what I told you regarding 10th schedule. I think I explained every point regarding 10th schedule. You please watch the video that is related to anti-defection law. Right? Final decision will be taken by the speaker, but there is no time limit. You kindly look at your own state. You may have some examples. And if you don't have any live example, look at the past of look at the history of your state. Definitely, you can see certain examples in this. Clear? Next. So next, with respect to the parliament, what is happening? Parliament is considered to be a temple. Temple is a place with lots of sanctity. We go with the reverence and we pray a lot in the temples. Such a high status has been provided to the parliament because in the parliament you have the representatives of the people, meaning the people themselves are present over there. That is the basic idea. Instead of the people present over there, the representatives are present in the parliament. But what is happening in the parliament? If you look at every Lok Sabha, today's Lok Sabha is the 60th Lok Sabha. If you look at every Lok Sabha, in every Lok Sabha you have the people who have been accused and you have certain criminals who are present in the parliament. That is not the place for the criminals. That is the place for the people with the values who can deliver the goods for the welfare of the people. But unfortunately, there is a criminalization of the politics. So there is a nexus between politicians and these criminals. And the whole system is getting spoiled. Right? Note for vote. Sometimes, if you want to vote in favor of someone, the parliamentarians are taking the notes. Legislators at the state level also taking the notes. For asking the question, somebody is taking the money. Completely undemocratic. Completely undemocratic. And sometimes some political parties will come out with come to the parliament with lots of money and shows it to the chair and saying that so-and-so political party has given this money. What exactly is happening? You don't discuss, first of all. In order to discuss, people should go there. How many members of the parliament are going to the parliament regularly? How many members in the state legislatures are going to the state legislatures regularly? If you are not going, what for you are there? You should be there, you should learn something, and you should also raise our local issues there so that our issues will be addressed. Is it not an issue? Should it be taken into consideration or not? Many people don't go. They just stay outside, right? Or they just stay in their constituencies and they will get their things done. No seriousness on the part of the legislators. And when you introduce the bill, there is nothing like any healthy discussion on the bill. In a hurried manner, because you have the majority, you will just pass the bill. And the pathetic thing is that budget is also passed like that. Budget is a huge document that you are going to decide the future of the nation for the coming 1 year. And without any proper discussions, the budget is getting guillotined on the last day. You know the meaning of guillotine. Without discussions, you are going for voting and you are considering that the budget is passed. If there is no discussion, what is the meaning of the democracy? Democracy means you have to discuss, debate, and deliberate. Then only it is called democracy. One-sided is not that. There may be something called ruling party and the opposition party. There should be healthy discussion. You may crack jokes, right, on each other. take take that with a sportive mentality, sportive idea. But instead of that one, you are using this particular platform to criticize each other. Sometimes filthy language is also being used by the members, and the speaker announces that these sentences will be removed from the records. It will not go onto the records. So such a type of people are present in the parliament. Is it not a serious issue? Yes, it's a serious issue. Look at this. In the current Lok Sabha, see, criminalization of politics, and in the current Lok Sabha, 15% are with the criminal background. And unfortunately, some people have been accused in the on rape charges also. This is leading to the diminishing of the democratic values. And in the this especially when you go to the elections, nowadays you may be aware of this. You are using the electronic voting machines. Everywhere we are using EVMs, electronic voting machines. So many people will be there. Previously, ballot papers were there. And you are going, and the campaigning is such that being a citizen of India, you have to exercise your oath. Is a democracy. But once you go there, what is happening? So you can look at the list, and you may not be liking all the people above. Then what should be done? So we cannot do anything. Come on, put the vote for someone and come out. So we are not happy. And that is the reason why in the year 2013, the concept of nota has been reduced on the directions that are given by the Supreme Court. Since then, right, everybody, every one of you may be aware of this nota, none of the above options. And if you don't like anyone in the given list, I can press nota. Clear? And who should come out with this? Parliament has to make a law on this. But if because of the parliament is not acting, it is the judiciary that has been forced to, judiciary has forced the government to introduce this. It forced election commission to introduce this. That is the reason why today in every election I have the concept of nota, NOTA, none of the above. Accordingly, you have to make a law also, but the parliament is not making a law on this. Slowly people are getting aware of this nota. That is the reason why in various elections, if you look at this one, nota is also getting voted. But even today also it's not clear. Of course, it did not happen so far. Tomorrow the situation may arise where nota may get highest number of votes. Then what should be done? It is not clear. That is the reason why parliament has to function. Parliament has to think ahead. Right? On the directions of the Supreme Court, you have introduced nota, fine. But what happens if nota gets the majority? That you have to mention in the right, to mention through the law, and parliament has to do it. Otherwise, what will happen? Imagine a situation tomorrow nota gets a majority, and the candidate who is at number 2 position, number 1 nota, number 2 is the candidate. Because nota, it's not a candidate, you cannot declare nota is elected, and the election commission will declare candidate number 2 as elected. Is it not undemocratic once again? How can you declare the person number 2 as elected? During that time, again, what will happen? We go to the Supreme Court. Again, we give trouble to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will say that because nota got highest number of votes in that particular constituency, whatever the election was held, that election has to be nullified, cancel that. Conduct the election again. Yes, it is expensive, but still conduct the elections again, but see that already the contested candidates should not be permitted to contest again. That's what you can do it. This is what is going to be done by the Supreme Court. Meaning is simple. You are going to put the pressure on the political parties only to field right people, proper people, people with a character to contest in the elections. Not everyone. Otherwise, here every political party says that we don't give tickets to gundas and rowdies. But look at all the political parties. Every political party is giving tickets like that. Right? That is the reason why it's not just saying something, but doing something on the part of the political parties is important. These are all the various issues, my dear friends. Look at this. Nota is addressing the problem to some extent, but it was introduced at the directions of the Supreme Court, and Parliament shows no interest on this. Delegated legislations. The work that is supposed to be done by the Parliament within the Parliament, it is being delegated to the administration. It is being delegated to certain committees, right? That is the reason why, right? What exactly the Parliament is doing. And with respect to parliamentary standing committees in India, we have 24 parliamentary standing committees. In fact, standing committees were introduced in the year 1993. At the time, the number was 17. Over a period of time, the number has been increased to 24. So these standing committees, they are expected to give suggestions to the government from time to time. Suggestions only, but they are not binding in nature. They are not binding. But whereas in United States of America, the suggestions given by the standing committees are binding. Why can't you make it binding in India? The biggest advantage with the standing committee is that you have the members in the standing committee from various political parties. In proportion to their representation in the House, you will have the people from various political parties. So that is a small group where discussions can be healthy, right? If you have larger number, that may lead to anger and you will be shouting on each other and you will be disrupting the whole house. But if it's a small group, healthy discussions may happen. Clear? It's a suggestion that should be made, binding on the Parliament. Next, lack of information technology knowledge on the part of the many legislators. So today, if you look at the Prime Minister of India, or the chief ministers of almost all the states, so they are very knowledgeable with respect to the IT. But what about the members, remaining members? Most of the members, they don't show interest to learn this IT. So IT is a revolution. So many things can be done at the earliest, and you can completely avoid this paperwork for that matters, right? So, but what is happening? Majority of the members are not showing interest on this. In some, this what do you call? Seriousness has to be there. Say, let me tell you one example. When Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister of India, one of his ministers came to the Prime Minister and he started explaining something to the Prime Minister orally. Then Prime Minister asked that, where is your laptop? So why didn't you show me through PowerPoint presentation? Then he said that, sir, I did not prepare. Then Prime Minister made it very clear. Come on, go now and make the PowerPoint and come and meet me tomorrow. So that if you show the PPT, PowerPoint presentations, it becomes easy and clearly that will be understood. And the Prime Minister will also be in a position to give certain advices. So next day he had to come. So meaning, if the leader is serious, then he can see that his colleagues will also be serious. That is the reason why some of the states, if you look at, they have given laptops to all the legislators. But a majority of them don't know how to use that. Right? Even the budgets, previously budget, in some of the states, budget papers are presented. Nowadays, there is nothing like that. E-budgets are given. But how do you open? How do you look at that? That knowledge is not there. That is the reason why legislators, maybe the members of the Parliament or the MLAs, so they should increase their technology. They should increase their awareness. Clear? Unfortunately, most of them are not interested in learning because they are interested in earning. Look at this. And the frequent usage of article number 123. So article this 123. Through under article number 123, the President of India, and under article number 213, the governor of a state can promulgate ordinance. And what is the ordinance? And what is generally expected from the ordinance is that only when it is very, very urgent, use this extraordinary provision of issuing the ordinance. But for everything you are issuing the ordinance. Sometimes you are proroguing the House to issue the ordinances. How far it is healthy? So there are so many governments in the history of India, so many ordinances were issued. Why should you? Can't you wait for a period of time? Can't you wait till the House is summoned, introduce a bill, excuse me, introduce a bill and pass a bill, make an act? Why this is shortcut methods? Extraordinary methods must be utilized only when there is a necessity, not for everything. That's the reason why Article 123 and Article 213, under which the President and Governor promulgates ordinances, that is being criticized. It's an issue. If you use it properly, nobody will question that. Look at this. Executive playing a more crucial role than the Parliament. Executive means the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, they already decide well in advance what are these bills, right? Since they have the majority, and they will just see that, the bills will be pushed and they are getting passed. And coalition governments are becoming very, very, this is ineffective. What is the example? What do you mean by coalition government? In the government, if there are minimum two political parties, two or more political parties coming together and forming the government is called coalition government. India has lots of experience with this. Even at the state level also, you have the experience of the coalition governments. Right? Example, like Bihar today. And even at the central level also, you have the coalition government today. BJP has the majority, but still it went for the coalition government only to give respect to pre-electoral alliances. That's the reason why not just BJP, but other political parties are also the part of the government at the central level. But whenever you have a coalition government, you are expected to discuss with various political parties. And different political parties will have different interests. That is the reason why decision taking may be delayed if it is a coalition government. Think in terms of the nation as a whole. Don't be parochial. Parochial means narrow-minded. Don't be parochial and don't think only about your state or your city to get the things done. Because it is not happening, because something is not coming to your state, you cannot object. You cannot go against the national interest. This is what is happening. Especially if you look at the previous government, UPA government, for 10 years, Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. So much of criticism was there against the Prime Minister of India. There is no doubt the Prime Minister is Mr. Clean. I am talking about Dr. Manmohan Singh. Former Prime Minister, he was absolutely clean and he has lots of knowledge. But when it comes to effectiveness, what happened? Was he allowed to work? And the reasons were many. But otherwise, look at the knowledge of that great person. Meaning is simple, they are becoming ineffective. The moment the government is ineffective, the growth will be retarded. Laziness will be there, red tapeism will be there. Corruption will increase. Ineffectiveness will increase. Various problems will be there, and it takes a longer time for the nation to come out of these clutches. Okay. So no proper discussion on the budget. Guillotine is being used. Members are taking money to ask questions. Shame on their part. They are shaming the democracy. Note for vote. You might have heard about this one. For voting in favor, you are giving the note. That is called a note for vote. And absence of the members during the sessions. Meaning, the members are absent during the sessions. What do you mean by this? Look at the Lok Sabha. Look at state legislative assemblies. So many people will be missing during the, these are discussions. And you are not taking part in the discussions. You are not at all interested. Then why were you elected, in fact? Next, Lokpal. In order to address the issues, so maybe at the ministerial level or the highest secretary level, sometimes some charges may be there, corruption charges. If the corruption charges are there, can you please name few where the accused, where the accused people have been convicted? But how long you are taking the time to convict them? For this reason, since the year 1968, we are talking about the establishment of the Lokpal. And with lots of difficulty, that Lokpal became a reality in the year 2013. Lokpal Act has been passed, but there is no Lokpal that is created even today. So, meaning these are the gaps that are present in the acts. If you have the Lokpal, what will happen? These corruption cases against the ministers and high level secretaries, so they will be settled within 6 months. At the most, it can be extended by another 6 months. Meaning, so these cases will be wrapped up within 1 year. Is it not good for democracy? So this is called, ombudsman system, which was started in Sweden in the year 1809. So what the Sweden did in 1809, so we are unable to do it even today also. This is all because of the absence and the lack of political will. So now it is becoming a big issue. Yes. Next. Look at this. So when it comes to judiciary, crores of cases are pending, less number of judges, continuous conflict between executive and judiciary with respect to the appointment of the judges, right? Because when Srimati Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, generally the CJI is expected to be the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Of course, rules are not mentioned anywhere. Constitution mentioned about the qualification of the judges of Supreme Court, but not the qualification of the Chief Justice of India. In general, since beginning, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court is being appointed as the Chief Justice of India. But when Srimati Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, this rule was violated 2 times. That is the reason why in the year 1992, Supreme Court declared that from now onwards, it is a Supreme Court collegium with 5 judges headed by the CJI that will decide who should be appointed as a judges to the High Court and the Supreme Court. If the government has any objections, it may send it back for the reconsideration. But after such a reconsideration, when the list goes back to the government for the second time, government must accept it. Meaning is simple, the Supreme Court took the complete authority into its hands with respect to the appointment of the judges in the Supreme Court and also in the various high courts. That is what is happening. So since then, the executive has no role to play in the appointment of the judges. Hence, executive has started blaming the judiciary by pointing out some people like, Justice C.S. Karnan. Yesterday also, the Law Minister of India, Ravi Shankar Prasad, is commenting on this. Who appointed Justice C.S. Karnan? Right? You know who is he? That became very controversial, in fact. Right? So who appointed? Because the executive was not there, you picked up people like that. So that is not the thing, right? So I will blame you, you blame me, let's keep on blaming. That should not be the situation. What is expected from the higher authorities is the coordination. Do something for the nation. Otherwise, it will keep on pending, and after this new government came into the picture, they have successfully passed the constitutional amendment bill with respect to the creation of the National Judicial Appointments Commission. It was passed by the Parliament, passed by the required state legislatures. President has signed it, it became the act. But later it has been challenged in the judiciary, and the Supreme Court nullified that Constitutional Amendment Act, saying that you are interfering into the judicial independence, which is nothing but the violation of the basic structure of the Constitution. Over, finish. So all the efforts that were made by the parliament went in vain. Again, the discussions are not going on. Court will not listen to the executive, executive will not listen to the court. So there is a lots of gap. Is it not the time to fill up this gap between judiciary and the executive? Yes, it is the time. Do it. Otherwise, this issue will continue to be an issue. Right. So there is a conflict between judiciary and the executive. Right. Next is the lack of accountability of judiciary. Of course, there is a mechanism to remove the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court, but it is not easy to remove them even after the charges also. If you look at, Supreme Court, one time an attempt was made in the year 1993, so to impeach a judge by name Justice V. Ramaswamy. Later in two high courts also, right? So one from West Bengal, Justice Omitra Sen, and one from this Karnataka High Court, Chief Justice Justice P.D. Dhanakaran. Attempts were made to remove them because of the various charges, allegations against them, and the process was moving, and these people have submitted the resignation letter. Meaning is simple: there is no concrete mechanism even today also to remove the judges. Is it okay? Right? That is the reason why so far none of the judges in the Supreme Court and High Court have been removed. Okay. So with respect to part 9, some points that are related to part 9 here. So most of the articles exercise the control, this of the union government on the states. And one thing is that this is a separate one. Yes, yeah. So next is the misuse of article number 356. Basically, article 356 should be used only when there is a failure of the constitutional machinery. That is being article 356 is being used as a tool to dislodge the government that is existing at the state level, especially when it belongs to opposition party. So this is a very, very wrong and unhealthy practice. So many commissions have given certain recommendations. Supreme Court also has given certain recommendations, certain directions, guidelines rather, but none were followed. Right? So, but otherwise what happened in the Constituent Assembly when the discussion was going on with respect to Article 356, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar expressed his opinion saying that Article 356 should remain as a dead letter. If it is Article 356 you are imposing, central government is dislodging the state government. Is it not against the principle of the federation? Definitely it is against. But it should be used only under very, very extraordinary circumstances, not very, very often. Clear, that is the reason why he said that it should be like a dead letter. But unfortunately, starting from the year 1951 until recent times also, every time it is being used. Many, many times it was used so far. So this is also one big issue. Look at this. And governors are appointed and removed by the central government at its will. Hence, if you see, whenever the new government is formed at the central level, the first thing what is happening is that they will intimate the governors who are already existing because they are appointed by the previous government. So, and they will be asked to submit the resignation letters. Right? So meaning, so orally the information will be sent, and the majority of them, they submit the resignation letters. Clear? Otherwise, they have a tool to remove them also. Meaning, governor position is considered to be the highest constitutional position at the state level. But there is no security of tenure with respect to the office of the governor. At any time it can be appointed, at any time it can be removed. Clear? Even after the completion of the term also you are extending the continuation, you are permitting those people to continue in the office. Once the 5 years are over, you can stop them. Is it not? For example, if you look at the governor of Tamil Nadu, it was Mr. Roshia. His term was over. So during that time, so you should have appointed somebody else. Right? Instead of that one, Maharashtra Governor Mr. Vidyasagar Rao has been given additional charge of Tamil Nadu. Even today also he is taking up the additional charge. And if you look at Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, for two states you have a single governor. Of course, constitution is permitting that. But the gentleman who is the governor today, Mr. Narasimhan, his term has been over. In fact, his two terms are over. 5 plus 5, 10 years are over. But again, he has been asked to continue for a period of time. Can't you pick up someone and appoint someone, a full-term governor now? So these are the various issues. Or you can appoint the same person, Mr. Narasimhan, as the governor once again. Why can't you do it? So meaning you should not keep anything pending for a long period of time. That is a basic idea. Right? So under the provisions of Article 201, President decides the fate of a state bill. You must be knowing this. At the state level, once you pass a bill in the state legislature, that bill will go to the governor. If the governor signs, it will become an act. But certain bills will be there if the governor feels that they are unconstitutional, they are going against the provisions of the constitution, or it is talking about the powers of the high court. So during that time, what will happen? The governor under Article 200 can reserve the bill for the consideration of the president. Under Article number 200, reserve. Under Article number 201, you can forward the bill to the president. Right? So once the state bill goes to the president may sign it, it will become act. Or president may send it back for the reconsideration. State legislature will reconsider and again it will go to the governor. Governor cannot take a decision now because it came back from the president. Again, it will go to the President of India. After it goes to the President of India, there is no compulsion on the part of the President of India to sign it again. Either he sign or he need not say anything and he can just keep the bill pending with it. Then what will happen to the interest of the states? Hope you are getting this. This is different with respect to the Parliament bill. If any ordinary bill is passed by the Parliament, it will go to the President of India. If the President of India has any objections, it may come back for the reconsideration. After such reconsideration, with or without changes, the President has to give the assent. But that provision is not there with respect to the state bills. Right? So that is the reason why sometimes, state interests are hampered, meaning you are biased more towards the central government. Look at this. Under Article number 275 and 285, the union decides the amounts to be given to the states. Obviously, you give more money to some states because in that state also you have your own political party. Obviously, that will create a resentment among other states. Finance Commission under Article number 280. So though it is there, it is giving certain recommendations. Fine. And generally, the recommendations of the Finance Commission are accepted as it is. This is what is happening. And even the 14th Finance Commission also has given certain recommendations, but there is nothing like any binding on the part of the central government to accept it. But luckily, since first Finance Commission till the 14th Finance Commission, the recommendations are being accepted. Okay, so like this, there are so many issues that are related to the Constitution. Right? So hopefully you got new exposure and a new experience with this particular class. And I suggest you all to watch this video once again. So to make yourself concrete. Okay, and if you have any doubts, kindly mail me, and I'll stop at this stage and I'll see you in the next class. So thank you so much for being with me this morning, and I wish you all a very, very, very good luck and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.